Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Software Plaza podcast. I'm Twain Taylor, editor at Software Plaza, and I'm happy to bring you each week a new conversation around technology and how it's being used, how it's being built, and shaped by innovators across the board. And if you like the conversation today, go and check out all of the other conversations we've been having now for a while. I think you'll find them really interesting. Head over to softwareplaza.com or look for Software Plaza podcast on YouTube or Spotify or wherever you listen to podcasts, and you'll find us there. Yes, Sanjay, great to have you with us. How are you doing?
I'm doing very good, Dwayne. How are you?
Yeah, doing great. Excited to be talking to you today about just the state of collaboration, the state of AI and intelligence, and especially through the lens of how content is managed within organizations, which is what you focus on.
Yes.
Quite an interesting topic, I think, because every team does work with content and every team needs to collaborate. And now, more recently, every team also needs intelligence that's AI powered. So quite a timely conversation this. Uh, but before we get into our conversation, our topic itself, I was wanting to get to know you a bit. So if you could share a bit about your journey leading up to Egnyte, your focus areas, I'd love to hear that.
Yeah, thanks, Dwayne. Thanks for having me on the show. And yeah, it's been quite a long journey. I have more than 19 years of work experience
All right.
entirely in the IT domain. So
Mm-hmm.
I did my engineering from Geetham University. I graduated as electronics and instrumentation engineer. And then I moved to Bangalore. I did my MBA here. After that, I started my career with SAP Labs as a research analyst in the competitive and intelligence team. And then I moved to HP. I worked there as business analyst. I was focusing on network attached storage technology. And then I had a pretty long stint at IBM. I played multiple roles there. Started as a competitive marketing manager, focusing on collaboration software. And then when everybody was talking about digital marketing, I thought maybe, I should also try my hands on because I always learn the hard way. I want to do things and then learn rather than attend a training program and, share a certificate on LinkedIn. So I'm more hands-on guy. So, I jumped into a role as a digital strategist. And then I did that role for a few years and then moving back to product market segment management as a data analyst, where my role was to hunt for new, revenue opportunities within existing accounts. And then I
Mm-hmm.
tried to experiment with my career a bit. I moved to a small scale or medium scale IT firm called Amz Technologies, where I headed the marketing team there. I built the reorg the entire marketing team, and before from there I moved to a company called Value Momentum. We're focusing on FinServe and insurance tech at that moment in time. So I led the India marketing team. And then after doing all these things, I really wanted to come back to Bangalore because I was moving to between different places. So I thought, I'll come back and settle in Bangalore. And then I found an opportunity in EY as principal consultant. I was supporting one of the EY's largest clients who were into professional services. Before joining
EY,
Ignite, it's
yeah.
been 3 years. I'm sorry.
That's
Yeah,
Ernst and Young, right? Yeah,
yeah, Ernst and Young, yes. So,
right.
and before joining Ignite, see, if you look at my career journey, I played multiple roles. Primarily, I spent most of the time supporting IT product companies, most of the times, and I also did a bit with services companies. But I always enjoyed the technology side, the product side. I wanted to be very, very close to technology and the product, and then focus more on, taking products into the market. So Ignite gave me that opportunity, that platform to really put my experience and skills into practice. So I started with Ignite 3 years ago. I joined their collaboration team, and little over a year, I moved into the intelligence. Currently I'm focused on AI product launches, product marketing. I also do the sales enablements as well as the demos. I also write a lot of content. If you go into my LinkedIn, you'll see all the articles that I wrote, that I've written so far, and all the other work that I did. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's in a nutshell.
Wow. Yeah, quite a diverse journey you had, like with a lot of different roles and experiences across different companies. So I was wanting to know your view on content and to get us started with just a more generic comment on why does content matter today? How is it changing in importance? Is it becoming more important today? Which kind of organizations use content and how do they use content today? What are some of your more like as an opening comment, what are some of your views on
So,
content importance today?
see, I mean, what are we doing today? We are recording this podcast. We are creating content, right? This content converts into views, converts into engagement, and probably convert into a viable business for you. And probably, help me get more opportunities, to connect with people, which may eventually convert into a business opportunity for me as well. See, content is at the heart of business, right? We are talking about B2B, B2C. You bring any analogy into consideration, but content is business. Without content, there is no business. Okay.
Hmm.
And content has different forms, shapes, and sizes, right? For example, we are doing this video podcast, and people will go on a morning walk and they listen to audio podcast. And then there
Hmm.
are some very serious companies, who work on Excel sheets, maybe different file formats. For example, if you look
Hmm.
at construction, yeah, AutoCAD, GWG, other file formats. If you think if you're watching a movie, you're watching a movie in a very specific file format, which delivers an experience. So content is everything, Twain, and without content, I don't think the world exists in this form. But what is changing is,
Right.
so what content does? Content does two things. Number one is it helps you to learn, and number two is it helps you to act. Okay. And these two happen in a very systematic way or in a very orderly manner. Okay. You consume content, you understand content, you analyze content, and finally you act on the content, maybe take a decision. It can be as simple as watching a movie, or as complex as maybe investing in a multi-million opportunity, or maybe acquiring company, investing multi-billion dollars. So everything happens on content, and everything depends on how you analyze, understand, and act on the content. Okay,
Right.
now what's happening is, if you look at the way decisions are being made over the past 20-30 years, the content consumption patterns have significantly changed. Okay.
Hmm.
When I started, I probably used to spend all day reading analyst reports before coming and before building my perception, and sharing with my leadership so that they can use this and take a further decision.
Hmm.
And as things move on, as things get more integrated, more smarter, and things matured, they started talking to each other, they started understanding each other language. The amount of time people are spending on reading and understanding content has drastically reduced. Okay.
Hmm.
And uh, and and because of that, what I observe is the number of iterations in terms of decision making has drastically increased. Okay.
Okay.
I think with the evolution of new technologies like AI, I believe this will reduce, and AI will support them in making much more decision driven or knowledge driven decisions.
All
I'm
right.
not saying AI will solve everything at this moment, but eventually we'll get there. But what happens
Hmm.
is, imagine you want to learn about a particular topic, maybe SaaS or collaboration. Okay, 2 or 3 years ago, what you do is you just go on Google, you search, use different keywords, and you read through tens of hundreds of articles, and finally come to a conclusion. Okay, the amount of time it takes to understand, synthesize, and then come up with a perception, yeah, it's huge, right? And from one article to another article, the perception keeps changing, and there is a lot of inner analyst in you who keeps judging which one is right, which one is wrong, and finally you have your own objective where you want to, keep support with relevant arguments and data, right?
Mm.
All this now AI is taking care of all this planning, thinking, designing, reorganizing, organizing everything. And it helps you to start somewhere, which used to take so much of time earlier. And why you, and end of the day, end of the day, what you're doing, you're trying to make a decision that will either
Yeah,
help you gain productivity or either help you save time or either simple, it can be as simple as, okay, it makes you happy. Okay, I took a decision. Let me move on.
totally.
So now, if you want, now if you dig a little deeper, what are the complexities involved currently with content? Okay, as I said, content comes in all shapes and sizes, right? Okay, it's very very
Hmm.
easy to understand one plus one rather than understanding a color pattern, or it's very very difficult to understand and decode a video compared to an Excel file, or
Hmm.
it's very very difficult to decode maybe something I handwritten, scanned and send it to you. It becomes an image or it can be a PDF, right? So how will you
Hmm.
analyze that? Okay, I think that is where AI is changing the game. It
Hmm.
is it
Analyzing
is
unstructured data.
analyzing unstructured data. Analyzing is fine. The game changing part is it is generating based on what it understands. Okay,
Right.
that is the game changer here. In the
Hmm.
RAG model, okay, the most important aspect of AI to become so powerful is its ability to generate the next word like a human being. And that is the
Right.
and it is generating from the unstructured data. Okay, it may sound very very simple. Okay, you analyze a video, you're transcribing that video based on the audio, or maybe you are analyzing the a picture based on the input or training that is provided to the LLM.
Hmm.
It's not that easy, right? that is where that is why you see all the tech CEOs and other people getting scared that AI may eventually evolve to a point where it will replace humans. And if we are not getting upskilled at pace in which technology is evolving, we may eventually get replaced. So that is where AI is becoming very, very powerful. And here,
Totally.
I think the role of the SMEs, or the role of the all the big companies is, how to be very, very responsible in terms of understanding AI and giving this power to the people who are using it. There are two types of AI. Okay, AI for fun, meaningful AI. AI for fun is, okay, there is Google and Nano Banana. I give a prompt saying, hey, make me change my dress, or change my hairstyle. That is for fun. But responsible AI and meaningful AI comes when you start using AI for meaningful outcomes. For example,
Hmm.
if a student who is watching this podcast, if he transcribes a video and if he uses the insights analysis for his project, that becomes meaningful AI. I think that is where slowly I see the B2B companies who are invested heavily in AI are moving into, and which is good news. I think by end of next year, you'll definitely see more meaningful, responsible AI tools coming into the market rather than experimentation and tools to understand how AI works.
Okay. Okay. Interesting. Well, yeah, there is quite an overview, and you also went into some details there that we could get into more in the next questions that we talk about. But I wanted to ask you about just technology teams, especially, and how they use and consume and act on content. So, here, when I say technology teams, I'm talking about teams that act as enablers for developers who build software products. So these are
Mhm.
teams that are like DevOps teams. Sometimes they call as platform engineering teams. Sometimes they're called as the infrastructure team. Uh, they are familiar with things like infrastructure as code. They have to collaborate with across teams. So there's developer teams, there's the ops team or the infrastructure team, and then there could be an SRE team that manages like reliability. These teams are all working together, and their common goal is to be able to release and put out a good product, a software product that runs in the cloud, you know, uh, that is reliable, that is secure, and so they collaborate across Jira tickets, Slack conversations, GitHub repositories, internal CI/CD tools. This is kind of like the typical tech team that listens to this kind of podcast, and and they work with content as well. They deeply collaborate on very complex processes about building software. In that context, how would you talk about content and how would you talk about collaboration for these teams?
Right. So when we talk about software development environment, okay. So right now, how teams are using, uh, which I'm aware of, is number one is AI is now helping them in building the code pretty fast. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Unlike
Coach.
earlier, where software engineers used to sit and write hundreds of lines of code, now it is not the case, right?
Yeah.
Now you have tools, I mean, Google's or GPTs and other LLMs who can you
Cursor.
describe what you want, they'll give you the code and take the
Right.
code, you make edits based on the initial product design, and then you are done. It is number one, increasing the pace of production, number two, quality of production. At the same
Mm-hmm.
time, it is also helping uh, consumers, end users, to experience new products faster than than they were earlier, which is very good
Right.
news. And
Yeah.
if you look at, see, we are here talking about generative AI. Generative AI, again, as it generates the next word, the generative AI generates the next line of code. So it's becoming easy.
Mhm.
So is it good
Yeah.
news or bad news for the software? It is a great news for the software engineers. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
because they can bring new product to the market, and they can obviously share code with the relevant teams through common platforms
Right.
like GitHub, or maybe recently Google has launched something called as anti-gravity, which is
Mm-hmm.
like agent integrated development environment platform, where
Okay.
all the teams can collaborate and work and
Mm-hmm.
generate code at a rapid pace, which used to happen in silos earlier. Now it is not the case. Okay. Now
All right.
we are now when we talk about AI, there are two things, right? One is we are talking about generation, and second one, which is going to be the game changer, is how these tools become autonomous. Okay.
Okay.
When we say autonomous, for example, let us take an example of Jira, right? If I need any if I want to raise an IT ticket, I go and I raise a Jira ticket, and this Jira ticket will be routed to maybe a centralized hub, and from centralized hub it may be routed to a person who is responsible solving the problem, and that person will come and solve the problem. So all this happens maybe in a semi-automated way because there is a lot of human involved. Let us
Mm-hmm.
say that I have an AI agent who constantly tracks all my applications. It keeps a track on what are the applications that I work regularly, and just in case if I lose a premium subscription of a tool, for maybe for this case, let's take the example of Zoom. Okay, the agent understands that I spend about 2 to 3 hours on Zoom meetings every day, and with the basic account, I cannot take the meeting for more than 45 minutes. What it does is it raises a ticket automatically,
Mm-hmm.
okay, without me going manually and raising it. And
Mm-hmm.
it tells Zira that, hey, Sanjay, Zoom premium subscription is subscribed, can you raise it? And it goes and talks to another agent which is there on Zira. Okay, instead of
Mm-hmm.
going to a centralized hub, and then and then sharing it with others in the team, it directly routes to the team that manages Zoom premium subscriptions. And without any human intervention, it will look at
Mm-hmm.
my previous credentials, my hierarchy in the organization, and the budget that is allocated for my team. It will take 3 to 4 different factors into consideration, and it will make a decision whether to provide me premium subscription or not. And it says, "Hey Sanjay, okay, we are
Mm-hmm.
renewing the premium subscription. You can use it." I mean, I'm not involved. Nobody in the
Mm-hmm.
IT team is involved. Nobody from the finance team is involved. Nobody from the my manager is not involved to approve. Okay, everything happened at the background
Mm-hmm.
without an intervention. See, this is one example of
Mm-hmm.
how agents are rewriting the entire working model in an
Mm-hmm.
organization. It
Right.
it would have taken maybe a couple of days back and forth approval from a manager to get this done. In an
Mm-hmm.
ideal scenario, company that is working fast pace, if I'm an IBM or any other company which is complex, it may take a little more time. Everything happens maybe in less than 2 minutes. And what is the result of that? It helps me to just go schedule an 1 hour, 2 hour long meeting with you, discuss about AI and other topics. It will help me to schedule a half a day workshop with the software team or the product team to analyze code, maybe look at UI UX designs, or maybe set up a long meeting with my stakeholders to
Mm-hmm.
record some demos. Everything happens, and this will eventually convert into currency in some form or the other. Maybe launching of new products, or maybe
Mm-hmm.
upselling to a customer, or maybe supporting a client escalation. Whatever it is, end of the day, it converts into a currency. Okay. Now let's take this example and put this in a development environment. Now, when the code is ready, then the testing team, I mean the CI/CD, continuous development, and I mean they are always involved. Okay, let us say that instead of a project manager manually tracking how many hours a software engineer has spent and what is the current state of the code, everything the instead of humans, let us assume an agent does everything. It plans, it schedules, it updates the team once a software, I mean, maybe testing team identifies some bugs. The development team gets an update to fix that. There could be some issues in UI UX. They get real-time updates, and everybody is working on one platform, and not like waiting for a daily stand-up to happen to discuss what is happening. Instead of agent is taking care of everything. You just need to look at what is coming your way, act on it, and move on, right?
Mm-hmm.
Similarly, I'll expand this little bit further, and I'll say that there is marketing team, sales team, and there is product team, and there is customer onboarding team. Let us assume that they are agents across all these different teams. And what I do is whenever I sit and talk to a customer on a call, customer has some requests and he raises some complaints. Let us say that,
Mm-hmm.
my Gong call or maybe my Zoom call understands it. And based on certain keywords, it says that, okay, maybe this particular feedback should go to the development team. This particular feedback should go to UI UX team. This particular feedback maybe should go to some other team. Let it takes its own decisions based on what I discussed,
All right.
and share this feedback to various teams. What happens is eventually all these inputs, maybe I'm sharing input from the customer team, maybe sales team sharing its input from prospects. Similarly, I'm talking to the stakeholders and they are sharing their views. Let us say that these agents work synchronously and create a schedule
Mm-hmm.
of what customer wants, what prospects wants, what is the vision of our stakeholders, consolidates into a pipeline which feeds into an input for the next upcoming releases.
Okay. Wow.
Imagine the power of the entire system working together. You have your vision captured, the product pipeline captured for the next 3 to 6 months,
Mm-hmm.
which will
Mm-hmm.
feed as the next delivery feature delivery items for the development team. Maybe product team will take a call whether to take it or not. That's a different story. But an entire system working in cohesion,
Right.
bringing everything together, makes the entire. software development, product development team so powerful that, and all these things happening without human intervention or stand-up meetings. It's all about bringing the teams together and helping them to make a decision, right? I think that is the
Right.
possibilities that I see in the next couple of years.
Wow,
That is
that's
where
fascinating.
the entire world, I mean, the entire org will come together. Because end of the day, what are we delivering? What product delivers? Okay, we talk about collaboration, we talk about governance, we talk about 100 different things, but end of the day, what we do is, if I can deliver a customer experience that is engaging enough, I think, I
Mhm.
think, I think the company has, survived its purpose. I mean, it can be WhatsApp or simple Google search. I mean, and it should not, it should be easy to work, get things done. Yeah.
Right. Fascinating. And kind of, as you're speaking, my mind was kind of going back to the older solutions that tried to do some of this uh, in some form in past decades, I would say, to start with. Like we had intranet to start with, which was a collection of internal web pages.
Yeah.
And the next iteration was probably SharePoint, which probably had a few more collaboration features than an intranet. And yeah, just with a plugin based ecosystem, there was just more possible. And then I think even that after that, there's been like these standalone tools that have come to, talk about managing content within organizations, especially content around team culture, collaboration. Like I'm thinking Notion types where you create still pages, but then these are not just web pages; they are more like apps. So you can even create
Yeah.
like a blended version of a web page and an app. You can connect pages. So yeah, Notion, and so I've seen that being used extensively as well in teams that build and ship software. Uh, and so I think now with AI coming on, there's this next wave that you're talking about, which is agent based. And I think we're hearing the phrase as well, agentic AI,
Yes.
in pretty much every conference that we attend, and it comes up in a lot of content that's being created, thought leadership content, just agentic AI and what it means. Um, so it seems like, there's this progression from very basic intranet to now more advanced, capabilities, and especially getting AI to actually do the heavy lifting. Quite a fascinating, uh, journey that I can kind of trace based on what you're saying. Is there anything you'd like to add to this based on, this journey that I traced? Anything that you would like to comment on that you see about this journey?
No, no, you're spot on, Twain. What it started as a simple programming or maybe a simple word, it's called WordPad, right? If I remember the word correctly. It's a notepad,
Yeah,
sorry, notepad.
notepad.
And
Yeah.
then we have heavy duty software like SharePoint. And then there's a huge wave of revolution around enterprise applications like SAPs, Oracles, NetSuites, all this. And then I think now we see all these years, we were predominantly focused on generating content, using content. Okay, generating content, using content, but all this happened in a very siloed fashion. Okay, you
Mm-hmm.
worry about what is relevant to your team. I worry about, what is it for my team. Okay, if you ask me what's happening in the world of finance, I don't know. Similarly, but I think with AI, what is happening is it is trying to build the meaningful correlations between all the different teams that works in silos,
Right.
and build and create something meaningful. That is
Mm-hmm.
that is what I foresee. See, let us keep all the assumptions about whether AI will replace jobs or not. Yes, it will replace jobs. It will create new jobs,
Mm-hmm.
and that's with any other technology, right? I'm just not. It's not just not about AI, but the only
Yeah.
thing that is see, you can say to worry or you can say to get excited. These are the pace at which the uh, innovation is happening. Can you
Hmm.
believe, Twain, this year in second half itself, I worked on six major AI launches at Ignite.
Wow.
Okay, six major AI launches, and it used to be I used to do one major launch every quarter. I mean, four
Mm.
major launches in a year is a big thing in product marketing, and six major launches in less than 4 months. You imagine the pace at which AI is innovating, and I'm only talking about major launches. And if we talk about, I would say, I mean, minor launches and the regular UI UX updates, I think they are countless.
Wow.
A company like Ignite in a year would launch at least 200 plus features, major, minor, put together. And
Mm.
imagine the scale at which some of the companies like Microsoft and Amazon would be launching. Okay. Okay. So that is what we need to worry about, the pace. Okay. If we
Mhm.
talk about pace, the next big question is, okay, so what? Okay. Okay. You are launching the products. I mean, you are launching AI innovations like, how the fast fashion works in India. Every other day you see a new fashion or t-shirt or hoodies or coming out, and yeah, it disappears within no time. You ask the same question. Okay, so what? Okay, you are launching. So who is using? So biggest question is there, adoption. Okay, the innovation is there. The biggest challenge which I see currently is adoption. And adoption
Okay.
always, you have fast movers, you have industry first movers, you have laggards, all these things. Okay,
Hmm.
so that is a huge challenge for the IT industry to face. And somewhere I read, I think Microsoft partnered with maybe ChatGPT, OpenAI or somebody, and they kept aside close to $15 billion just to train people on AI. Okay, because unless there is adoption, it becomes
Hmm.
very difficult to maintain this balance between innovation and adoption and value. Because if there is no adoption, how will you generate the value out of it?
Hmm.
That is something we need to worry about. And recently, in one research, MIT said 95% of all AI innovations will fail.
Okay. Hmm.
So they
Yeah.
will
Yeah.
fail not because of innovations, they will fail because of adoption, in my view. Because before somebody understands what agent is, you're talking about age A to A. Before somebody understands what A to A, you're talking about something, a new form, a new term altogether. So it
Hmm.
is fancy to come with so many new terminologies and new terms, but I think it should be easy to understand because we are talking to Gen Zs, Gen Alphas, who doesn't correlate themselves with the complex technology jargons.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
I was wondering if we could segue into just getting to talk about the Egnyte solution itself and maybe even seeing a walkthrough of what it looks like and maybe one or two features very briefly for just like 3 to 5 minutes. But before we get to the walkthrough, if you can just give us the elevator pitch in short, describe for us what Egnyte does, and then we'll get to doing the product tour.
See, in one word, Ignite is built for complex. Ignite is built for critical business content. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, and it's all about how to make our users be more productive. While using the content that they created or they're using, it's as simple as that. Okay. So what I mean by complex business content. Okay, when we talk about content exists in Word documents, PDFs, audio, video files, and other formats. Okay. And there are two types of content, right? One is the content, the backend content, and the front-end content. When I talk about backend content, probably I'm referring about the Microsoft Words, PDFs. and all the other formats which we regularly use for business conversations and transactions, right? And
Right.
when we and what do I mean by the front end content is, let us say you're working in a construction company, right? You create a plan, okay, based on the client requirements, and using different softwares like AutoCAD or maybe Autodesk, all these maybe any other construction related software, which is very very complex. Now, number one, and number two is the format itself is very difficult to read, understand, and analyze, right? So Ignite is exceptionally good at understanding industry focused content, okay,
Mm-hmm.
not just understanding. Yeah, we also facilitate collaboration on industry standard content formats like DWG and other formats. Uh, and we also have out of the box integrations with some of the most prominent content clouds like SharePoint, Google, and Autodesk and others, and we make the collaboration happen. Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
and this is one of the key differentiator, because very few vendors out there has this level of capabilities, which will help teams to collaborate on mission critical content,
Mm-hmm.
and finally, move things forward, and take decisions as one team. Okay, that's what we deliver and we different. So when we take security very very seriously, okay, and when all this happens, the content remains very very grounded, secured, guarded within Ignite platform, so they don't have to switch between different apps, or they don't have to really worry about, okay, should I really download this, save it on my desktop, do some edits, and re-upload? No, everything happens on cloud, and everything happens instantly. So that is what we
When you
deliver.
say when you say you can integrate with SharePoint or Google Drive, for example, um, does Ignite actually take the data and transfer it to its own platform and analyze it, or does it keep the data stored on SharePoint on Google Docs and just indexes and understands that data?
So what happens? Okay, I can show you a real-time example. So when we talk about SharePoint, what we do is, Ignite will coexist with SharePoint as an instance. For example, you can open SharePoint, and SharePoint has different tabs. Ignite will be one tab where you can access Ignite content directly from SharePoint. So instead of moving between different tabs to access content from both SharePoint and Ignite, you can do that in one pane. So that is how we integrate. So sometimes you want different instances to save your content, right? It could be for compliance reasons, could be for security reasons, sometimes could be for backup hold to backup content if you have mission critical content, or if you have sensitive content where you want to keep in multiple locations. But you at the same time you want to have access so that you don't have to switch between different platforms, because once you switch from one application to another application, the entire workflow changes, the entire working methodology changes. You may end up spending time on one platform rather than coming back to the original purpose of what you're trying to resolve. So to address all these things, we take integrations very very seriously and make sure that whatever the user wants, it is right in front of his eyes.
Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. So with that, yeah, if we could jump into the product tour and you give
Yeah,
us a brief look into just one or two features. And I know we talked about this
right.
before beginning that Ignite is a very complex product with a lot of capability, and you won't be able to do justice to all of the features, but you're just going to give us a very, very brief
Yeah,
glimpse into what is possible with it and what it looks like.
right. Okay, so this is my demo environment, and if you see, this is how it looks once you log in. Okay. So here we are in the collaboration environment, but if you click on this menu, you will see all the different environments that we offer: collaborate, secure, and govern. And this is more for admins to worry about, not the end users. And
Mhm.
ETMF, control system, and these are our industry offerings, primarily designed for uh, financial services. Public cloud connector this is where you can connect with other cloud vendors like AWS, Azure, SharePoint, and Google Drive and many others. And if you want to migrate, we have the migration tool to migrate data to Ignite. Okay.
Why would
So,
you
and
follow-up question? Why would you connect public cloud to Ignite? Like, what's the use case there?
see one use case. Okay, so let us say there's one use case could be, okay, let me click on this one. Okay, this is the I'm sorry, this is my this has limited features because this is my demo environment. I think I have to enable the others. Okay, one use case could be, for example, for compliance purposes, right? You may want to have Ignite or any other platform as a backup storage so that you don't lose your sensitive data. That could be one simple use case for financial or legal teams. So instead of
Mm-hmm.
saving everything on SharePoint, maybe you want to have another shared storage provider like Ignite, where you
Mm-hmm.
put some of the backup. That can be one simple use case. Okay. So, yeah.
All right, sure. Yeah, continue with your tour
Okay.
that you were going through.
Okay, so once we create a domain, so what happens is, on the left-hand side, you will see all these different features from files to Copilot. Any shared links or project center is again for teams who wants to work on specific projects. For example, if you are a construction company and you and your team is working on you work on different projects like project A, B, C, and all. And if you want to have one centralized space for each project, you can create that one folder. You can convert it as a project, and every other file that is created, you can save it here for easy navigation and access. And workflows and signatures, again, you can create different to-dos, or if you can assign people uh, to approve content once you create it. And we also have very powerful e-signature that is integrated into the platform itself. Okay, let's look at
Okay.
some of the collaboration features. So what happens is, once the Ignite is configured, you will see a shared folder here. Okay. And so here you can go, you can create your own folder, and once the folder is created, you can start using it as your Microsoft SharePoint or any other software which has very similar user interface, right? You can go save your files. Okay, let me pull some in PDF which is easy to understand. Okay, so here, okay, there are so many files that are shared. For example, if you want to share this PDF, click on this file, you will see so many options here. You can either rename, you can share, you can edit it. You can edit with your inbuilt PDF editor, and you can do using web edit. You can share with anybody or with anyone with password or with existing users or people you choose. So the security is taken very, very seriously here. And it's you who you govern how you want to share this externally and whom you give edit permission rights. Okay. So, for
All right.
example, if you and I are in the same organization, we both will have editing rights. So you don't have to really click here and share. You can simply click on copy direct URL and you can share this with me. Okay. And if
Okay.
you want to get insights, just open Copilot. This is integrated. Okay. So what Copilot does is it will either pop up based on the questions based on the contents in this file. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Can create a you can create a quick summary, or you can extract insights. So you get all these pop-ups to get instantly work with this file, or you'll see some questions here based on the contents in this file. Okay, so you can ask any a question and get an answer. If you want to view source, you click on that. It will highlight from where it pulled this particular insight. Okay, so nothing escapes, no hallucination. The data is very, very accurate. And if you really want to write a complex prompt, you don't have to do anything. Let me say that, for example, okay, I'll copy this one. Okay. And if you want to refine this prompt, what I do is, you see this magic wizard here, right? a band here. Just
Yeah.
click that. It will help you to improve the prompt. Okay, it will
Mm,
make it more persona specific so that you really don't have to break your head and think like a prompt engineer. It does this work for you. Insert it, you run it, you get a very detailed answer. Okay,
nice.
right? Right. So this and everything is source, right? Yeah, and if you click on this, it will take you to the right. I'm sorry,
Wow, that's powerful.
source from where it is pulled.
Yeah,
Yeah. Let us say
that's
that
really
you are not happy. You want to try different GPTs. Okay. Okay. This is
cool.
how Chat GPT. I'm sorry, Gemini provides an answer. Maybe
Hmm.
you are in love with GPT. You click on GPT, right? And maybe you ask the same question with GPT. GPT will give you a different answer.
Right.
So depending on which LLM you prefer, you can select and you can run these queries. Okay.
Hmm.
So you can do that. I'll show you one more powerful feature. I think that
Hmm.
that is also see this is when I'm doing this, I'm not just playing with the content, but I'm trying to extract some meaningful insights. Okay.
Okay.
This is how ChatGPT has responded compared to Gemini. So based on these two LLMs, you can make a choice on which one you
Mm,
you you prefer using. Okay,
right.
I'll switch back to Gemini, and we have something called as view prompts. So if you look at view prompts, see the document that I opened is a contract. Okay, and in this contract, we already pre-built all these different prompts for different personas. If you want to
Mhm.
understand risk and exposure, you click on this. If you want to understand maybe upcoming renewing cycles, you can click on this. So you really don't have to really sit and think through on how to analyze this particular contract. Everything is pre-built here. Okay.
Mm,
So again, you can filter by categories you want to analyze, create, do all these things. You can even filter by job types. Maybe if you want to be ask some legal specific prompts, you can do that. And if you are not happy with this prompt, you just click on create a prompt, create something your own, categorize and save it, and then share it with the team to use it, and they can get benefited out of this. Okay. This is about
mm,
AI. You see other features here like comments. You can leave a comment here and you can tag your team so that they can respond. Okay.
all right.
Okay. You can do that. And you can also create a workflow here, create a new workflow, custom workflows, right? Maybe I'll make a to-do, select step name, review the content, review the contract. Okay. And the please review and share comments to
So this is
approve.
like,
Yeah.
okay.
It's more like I can assign people here. I can do Ravi Raj or whoever it is. Sorry, this is a demo environment, so it's not picking
Yes,
up.
I think.
But
No, it's
yeah,
actually been good.
yeah, and you can give a date so that so you don't have to ping him every other day and say, "Hey, did you review it? Did you review it?" No, the workflow sends automatic yeah, follow up, and once it is done, you'll get an update saying, "Hey, review is done." This is more detail. This is for the backend team. For
Mm,
example, you saw Copilot pulling so much of detail from the contract. This is what happens in the background, right?
mm.
So we analyze the file, we create metadata, and
So
we also provide some basic details, you know,
is
for
already
people.
this only get created when you started the question?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And you also see all these smart tags on your left-hand panel. What are these? For example, I am from procurement team. I want to understand what is the effective date. Effective date is December 22nd, 2014. Click on this, it takes me from where it pulled the information. Okay. Okay.
Wow. Yeah.
And there is another problem here. See, I am from a finance team or marketing team. I don't understand some legal terms. Okay. So what this tool does is it actually converts the complex legal terminology into plain simple English for me to understand. Okay. It provides a summary. into what this force majeure is in the event of severe weather or whatever it is, this contract may get terminated or nullified. Okay. What is indemnity? I don't know what it is, right? Because if you click on this, I get a summary of what indemnity means and what happens if I do not you meet certain requirements in this contract. Okay, you get all these details in very simple plain English so that you don't have to go back to the legal team to understand and involve them, because any however big the company is, they have very small team and small legal team and they're always busy. These are some of the powerful features that we are building, and this particular contract has more than 24 smart tags. These smart tags are nothing but all key terms that everybody who is working on contract should worry about, and they
All
don't
right.
have to do these. I mean, this is just 4 pages. It even parses contract, which is as big as 1,000 pages also,
Mm-hmm.
and gives you these filters for you to quickly go and understand what are the key terms, and based on this, what action should be taken. This is one feature, one product that we launched recently. I wanted to show you this. Okay, so I want to show you another feature which I'm particularly very fascinated about. Okay, let me keep it simple. Okay, I'm searching for a Word document.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Word document. If I open this Word document, you will on the right height top panel, you will see code in Google Online open with different options. You can either open it with online, or you can code it on Google Desktop. You can probably, send it for signing or signing, or you can share it with people. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
If you see Adobe Sign, DocuSign is already integrated into this. So either you use Ignite Sign
Okay.
to sign on this document, or if your partner is on Adobe Sign, DocuSign, you can do that. And see, you are doing this without leaving the platform. That is the beauty of this one,
Okay.
right? So generally, what happens is either you download this and probably open Adobe Sign and then share it. No, you don't have to do all those things. Everything is integrated. That is why it becomes very, very powerful. Okay,
Oh,
so I click on this one and I want to. Okay, so so I think only in this domain only Word is activated. But what you can do is you can code it in Google as well, along with Microsoft. So if you have preference towards Google, you can do that.
you can set that
So,
up.
so these are some of the some features to give a gist of how Ignite works. So if you're admin, you can definitely edit the privileges of.
Got it. Got it.
You can see
Great.
who can access, who cannot access, and you can
Mm.
add devices. All these things you can do it.
Yeah. 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 This helps with compliance and security, I'm sure.
Yeah, yeah. You
There
can
was a
see who's active, who is not active. You can make edits. Okay. Get in the details. If you're admin, you can do all these changes. So it's very, very powerful. And you don't have to break your head to understand the tool. It's very simple, right? Just navigate, click on it, and then you'll understand. It's built for end users who doesn't require hands-on training.
right. Wow. Yeah, quite fascinating. Thanks for that product tour. And I think there's a lot that's possible. And I can totally see that, even tech teams that build software can really use this well to get something like Ignite to understand their release notes, their sprints, their Jira tickets, their documentation, so much, and really just bring it all together to be able to help the team move faster, build software faster, provide a better product, and even just you know be able to yeah, just create a better experience for their end customer, like you mentioned earlier. So quite a lot of possibilities here, and quite a fascinating product there that you're building with Egnyte. Um, as you
Yeah.
look at lastly, I'd like to ask, as we conclude our conversation, what do you see coming up in the next year or so with AI still taking shape, still finding
Yes.
its place in the organization, and with tools like Egnyte, which really leverage AI to its full
Right.
potential? What do you see happening? What do you find interesting? What are you
Mhm.
keeping your eye on for the next 1 year?
So there are a couple of things, Twain. One is talk about made smart, powerful AI. For example, our executive is more powerful with AI rather than without AI because the possibilities are endless for him. We are talking about software developer becoming way more powerful because he can quickly generate code instead of sitting and thinking and writing and debugging.
Hmm.
And now we are talking about, and in the example that I showed you, we are talking about how teams who are working on contracts can become more powerful. When I say powerful, that means they have more time to do better strategic and more meaningful things rather than reading
Right.
through the
Yeah.
contracts. All these while we are talking about making a person powerful or making a team powerful. Okay. What I foresee, I mean, this is where even Ignite is focusing on and bringing all these tools together to make process powerful. Okay. How do you make a process powerful? How do you move from artificial intelligence to maybe process intelligence? Okay,
Mhm.
so you take the entire HR team and maybe hiring as a process. How do you make the entire process intelligent and very, very powerful? That doesn't happen with maybe one tool like Copilot, or that may not happen maybe with a couple of tools like resume intelligence or resume shortlister, for example, based on what keywords or the context of the many tools should come together. And when we are talking about AI, we always get into technology. No, AI is about technology, it is right, but AI is more about people who are using it. It's all about how they work, how you capture, how you understand how they work, and how you automate that. I think that is where the biggest evolution happens in the next 1 to 1.5 years, not even 2 years. And just imagine if one process becomes very, very intelligent. I think the software development life cycle is the first one to become very, very intelligent, because that is where, I mean, the big wigs like AWS, Amazons, and Googles and Microsofts are investing very, very heavily. So you will see software development lifecycle process becoming very, very intelligent and very, very powerful, and that will trickle down to other departments within no time.
Right.
And Ignite is focusing on creating practical and meaningful AI. So with the
Hmm.
with the with the demo that I showed, you might have understood that what kind of problems we are solving, and
Hmm.
understanding legal terms and converting legal language for of people like I don't know, you may don't understand legal, but people who are non-legal itself is a big leap, right? So Ignite will move towards that, making processes way more intelligent. We serve clients primarily from architecture, engineering, and construction industry, followed with financial services, media and entertainment, as well as professional services like software and legal. I think we are focused on making the process very, very powerful and intelligence with tools like the one that I showed you.
All
We,
right.
we
All
call
right.
it as contracts analyst. We launch something or less building on few focusing on empowering our end users and the customers in these industries. So that's what
All
I
right.
foresee
Wow. Okay.
becoming very,
Yeah.
very cohesive. And
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
sounds fascinating and burdensome at the same time. But
Okay.
I think AI is all about how you understand how people work and automate that. And show a new path to the people who are working, who worked on this, because they have wealth of experience, right? How you translate into the next big thing can be one big question for the companies to solve, rather than scaring people that you will lose job and AI will take over your job. So that is something that I think in 2025, 2026, I think these companies will start discussing about as well.
Mhm. Great. Well, thanks for sharing those views. Sounds like an exciting future ahead. And thanks for
Yeah.
just your comments on just where we are in terms of content
Mhm.
and its use by organizations, and even for the exciting demo,
Yeah.
the Ignite platform. We covered a lot in this little time. And thanks for joining
Yeah.
us and sharing all of your views today, Sanjay. It was a pleasure hosting you.
Thanks, Twin. Thanks for your time. And yeah, it's always my pleasure to talk about AI and what I learned so far. Hopefully 2026 will be a much more fascinating year for both of us.
Yeah, yeah. And yeah, looking forward to all that's going to happen with Ignite as well. Listeners and viewers, if you're interested in learning more about Ignite, head over to their website. That's egnyte.com. And get in touch with them if you want to see a more customized demo for your organization. And reach out to Sanjay if you found any of his views interesting and you'd like to connect with him. Reach out to him. He's Sanjay Kosuri, Sanjay Kosuri. You can find him on LinkedIn. And with
Yeah,
that, the end
sure.
conversation. And we hope you'll join us again for the next episode. See you on that one.